Hi all, today we're going to be taking a look at Batman in Detective Comics 616 from the 90s thereabouts. This came out in the Batmania of the Batman movie that had come out in the summer of '89. And Batman was still fairly white hot heading into the 90s, 1990, 1991, around there. And of course, was stoked by Batman the Animated Series, which I would say around 91, 92 or so. And of course, Batman Returns, which was 92. You couldn't like spit without hitting a Batman T-shirt, Batman ball cap. Batman was everywhere, posters, etc. Everyone was into Batman. Meanwhile, in the comics, DC was pretty good at representing good Batman stories. That if you watched the movie on VHS or in theaters, etc., or on TV, and you had an itch to read a current Batman comic, you'd be satisfied by what you got. It with the tone and mood basically matched what you saw in the film. So in this story, this is a sort of one and done. There are some story elements that stretch into other things because it's a serialized comic, but it's a pretty cool, macabre, gothic mystery. Here's a Double Dragon 2 commercial. Double Dragon 2, I remember people being upset at the controls, like the left button punches or kicks left, and the right button punches or kicks right. It was weird. But, it's pretty cool. I think 2 is probably better than 1, in my opinion. So here there's a weird creature that's killing people in a very ritualistic way, and the creature attacks a couple in a cemetery, or at least a park, and knocks the girl unconscious and does something to this man. And so the girl wakes up in the hospital and she's like, why won't anyone tell me what's going on with my boyfriend? And Batman and Commissioner Gordon are there, and Commissioner Gordon's smoking and stuff and coughs, and then the nurse is like, "You're gonna be in this hospital too if you don't watch out." And he's like, "I can't even cough without people getting on my butt." But Batman reveals that the boyfriend was horribly murdered on a rock with a symbol etched at the murder scene, and looks like a ritualistic murder of some sort. And here's a Dick Tracy commercial. This was 1990 was the year of Dick Tracy because of the movie. It was coming out from Disney Corp, and it's a pretty cool movie. I've always said that it's not quite Dick Tracy for me, but 30 years onward, it's kind of a treat and a treasure that this thing was made. It's colorful and fun. And here's a Capri Sun commercial, sort of the comic, full page comic sort of approach that the Hostess Pies commercials, like a decade before, were taking. It's pretty cool. It didn't make me want to go and buy Capri Sun. I don't think they even make this anymore. I always found the drinks to taste weird because of the packaging itself. It always tasted like the packaging. It was so gross. But people liked it for a while. It was like a pouch that you stick like a straw through. So here, Batman is lamenting a previous storyline with Penguin setting most of Gotham on fire. That's a whole other thing I think we'll get into. I have that. It's like a 3-part story. It's pretty awesome. Meanwhile, some kids steal a wallet and say, like, this whole Penguin situation is awesome because cops are too preoccupied with that, and they're not out, like, stopping them from robbing people. So they rob this guy. They go into this abandoned place to stash stolen wallets that they have, and they encounter this creature. And so the one guy leaves, and this other guy gets strangled by the creature. The one guy who left encounters Batman, and the dude's like, "There he is, Batman! He stole my wallet." That's pretty awesome. And the guy's like, well, no, 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 there's a thing up there. So Batman's like, stay here. And the kid runs off, and Batman throws a batarang. He's like, I said stay. Um, this all the action and sort of like a ground level gothic crime fighting was like pitch perfect for me for Batman. Reading this back then, I thought like this is awesome. This is Batman. Batman goes in and Bionic Commando is a wicked game. He goes in and discovers that yes, another victim has fallen with that symbol. Who is this? What is this? Well, apparently they had dug up a prehistoric site in Gotham City, and Batman thinks back to and this has almost nothing to do with this story, but he's just thinking back to fighting the Joker in this helicopter and thinking that he died in a helicopter crash, and kind of thinking twice about that. Here's the Batmobile as it was back then in 1990. It's pretty neat. It's got like the two big headlights here, and a sort of like one smooth glass shielding for the cockpit, and all this like engine work in the back. It's pretty neat. So here Batman is looking at the site that was dug up, that was prehistoric, and this dude knows all about it, and he's an archaeologist. He's just out at night, like using dowsing techniques, which is like going through ley lines and stuff and exploring where they take him. And so he talks about how this is linked to ley lines, and this killer is perhaps following the ley lines and killing people along that pattern. And so they link to like a war vet hospital, but also it goes through Wayne Manor. And so Batman orders Alfred and Tim Drake here to abandon Wayne Manor while he figures this out. And so they go. When Batman goes to the war hospital, there's another victim. And so now he's like, okay, let's go to Wayne Manor. He trusts that Alfred got rid of, just abandoned Wayne Manor. But the dude that's helping him, he's like, it goes to my house as well. And my wife is there. So here's the creature, and he's about to attack the wife here. Like most comics in 1990, almost all of the ads are for video games. It's like NES, mostly NES. Super Nintendo was going to come out maybe, I want to say the year after, like around 1991 or so. But NES was still in full swing, and they were still producing a lot of NES games while Super Nintendo was released in 91, 92. And this game Off-Road, it used that 4-player adapter, which worked pretty well. It was pretty cool. I always looked at these kinds of ads to see if there are any comics I didn't know about that I then have to hunt for in comic stores and stuff. For the most part, these are mainstream Marvel and DC comics. So here, the creature is about to attack this poor woman. He really wants a rod that will help him gain all his power back. He's like an ancient sort of creature, and so this archaeologist guy had it, and so now he has it. Batman comes in, unmasks him, and of course it's some sort of like hideous snake thing, skull thing, and so Batman figures all his power is coming from this rod. He takes his utility belt, and I don't really see this used often, and then he uses it to lasso the the rod and throw it out, and the creature follows it and smashes against the rocks, etc. And so the wife is fine and everything, but Batman feels that there's something amiss and thinks back to the helicopter, and he's like, "There's no way that Joker died there. He has to be alive." And so you have like the Joker, and of course, like if there's a story where Joker dies, that's bullcrap. It's like he has to come back, right? At least in the comics. And of course, Joker was super popular because of the movie that come out months before. So I just thought this was a great little storyline of like, of course there's some supernatural elements to it, but like to me, Batman would have to have some supernatural elements, but to the point where like Batman's not using magic himself, that's fine. There's still a mystery to solve, and he does that. Just a nice little like one-off little story. And here is of course these old handheld LCD games where there's a little design that like lights up in black, etc. These proliferated a great deal. I never see these Konami things on the back market. I don't think people liked them, but they made like Billy. They made all sorts of these kinds of things. The best quality ones were probably the Game & Watches, which were really made in around 82, 83 or so. But after that, like everyone made these kinds of games. And here's Viper, pretty neat game for NES. So that's a look at your typical Batman comic that was out to capitalize on the movie. I mean, really, the comics were just like continuously published anyways, but I think DC did a good job of showing a good, true representation of Batman when the character was very popular in the mainstream.